discovery,
No.
and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
You're good to go, my dude.
Hello, welcome you guys. Welcome back to Health or High Water. Hey Trip, we're on a roll now, right?
We are, I don't know if I call myself on a roll. I'm kind of falling down a hill today.
We had a slight schedule in there, but you know what? I think just being busy, that happens, right?
100%. There's no breaks today.
Hey, welcome guys. Hope you guys are having a good day. And if you're in Denver, hope you're not boiling out there, right?
I don't have AC.
Amanda, what is going on? Thank you for taking time. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
You are over at Kavod. You're one of our favorite classes we do. You have such a huge building there. It's huge. There's so much going on over there. It's crazy. You're doing your master's you were just talking about.
Yeah. We have over 400 residents, but we have irregulars. So it's really nice that you probably have seen the same faces and then new faces pop up with all the different things y'all do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have. You know what's interesting is there's a lot of Russian speaking. How does that work? Because we work in a lot of communities, and Kavod's interesting because there's a lot of residents that speak Russian or different languages, and why is that?
So there's a non-official triangle. So there's 3 properties where they have a higher percentage of Russian speaking that kind of haven't just transitioned to that space. So there's one on Kentucky and another one I'm not familiar where, but about a third of our population is Russian speaking. They're not necessarily all from Russia. Some are from the former Soviet Union, Ukraine, Romania, but they speak multiple languages.
Yeah. Can you give me and the listeners like a little history? Interested to learn a little bit more about Kavod. What makes them different? What makes you guys unique? Maybe a little history of it.
Sure. So Kavod started with our first building it's about 53 years old, I think, which is the building that y'all provide class in. Then the building across the street, we've kind of just taken over the whole block. Then we built the place across the street, and then next to it, it's our current CEO. He loves his favorite word, which I now have taken as my favorite, is start incrementally. Start small, build from there. I'm from Iowa, so the Field of Dreams is where I start. And so we started small and built from there. And it started with a handful of ladies, actually, just wanted I don't know the specifics on there, but it really has developed from there. So we're HUD subsidized, which means we're really blessed to have HUD supporting our majority of our residents with a portion of their rent. So they're only pay a portion of the actual market rate, which we are housed in Cherry Creek, which the rent can be quite pricey in that space. So very fortunate on that side. But we have not just independent living residents. We have a small assisted living that has about 26 residents. But there are over 16 different languages spoken, predominantly female. The average age is around 80. But it's a really unique community. I came from the Denver Housing Authority and oversaw the senior disabled properties throughout the metro area. And we would always call Kavod, then was called Allied Jewish Housing, like I call it Club Med, but then I kind of age myself when I say Club Med. I've never been to a Club Med, but I came on, they feed us lunch and we had yoga class. And there were so many. At the pre-COVID, we had over 100 activities, including trips, classes, workshops, and events each month. So it's a robust, active community, which is fabulous for older adults to age in.
Yeah, they're super active. I mean, and like you said, they're regulars too. As we've taught boxing class, we have the same residents pretty much come to every single class. There's a fantastic Tai Chi class before us that is pretty much packed every time. And then, of course, the boxing class, the same residents come in as well. Are residents from are there other people allowed to come to classes, or you have to be a member of Kavod?
No, it's open to the community. So on our website, we have our trips are open to community. They just have to sign up through the front desk. All classes are open. We even have this amazing program called Kavod on the Road that goes out to different spaces within the community. We just had our conference this week. So there are options both at our physical residence and then sprinkled throughout the metro area.
That's great. That's great. I had somebody asking me about that. And you guys are located, so I take South Colorado Boulevard. And what's like a good way to say where you're located at?
We're across the street from Macy's.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Okay.
So
Yeah.
if you're stepping outside of Macy's, you look up and you see a very tall building. It's one block past Spear on Ellsworth, and it's that first main spot. We pretty much do take over the entire block. There's one condo building at the end, but we work closely with them too.
That's awesome. So you are were you born and raised in Iowa?
No, I was born in Minnesota, moved to North Dakota, and then to Iowa.
Okay. And North Dakota.
Yeah.
You work hard to get rid of that accent?
It comes out when I say like bagel or bag.
There it is. Bagel. My mom's a Minnesotan and North Dakota as well. So, but I was born in Florida. So, I every time the three sisters, my mom's sisters get together, one of them still lives in Minnesota, and it just comes out. It is the funniest thing ever.
It will come out, and you're just like, wow, I thought that was gone.
Until you come out here,
Yeah.
you find out you have an accent. So then you were in Iowa. What got you originally into senior living? Like, what was the transition for you in this?
So I went to school. I was actually a middle school teacher. I taught for a year in Houston, Texas. And the requirements for teachers, they're probably the hardest working people ever in the world. I believe that just from being behind that desk or that space. But there's a lot of requirements. And for the school I was at, we would really just focus on the standardized testing, and I didn't believe in that process. So I retired early from teaching. And I went to school actually for a year out at Northern Colorado. So felt this was my out of the Midwest home. So I moved out here, started working with a nonprofit on Colfax called Colfax Community Network. It's now is, I think, underneath with the Comitis. There's a behavioral group that's taken it over. But I worked with transient children and families and older adults on Colfax, which lived in the motels. I think there's actually one a couple blocks down still. Yep. But I transitioned from there and started working for the Housing Authority. In my initial interview, I was just telling Tripp, my future boss asked, and she's like, would you like to work with families or with older adults? And I just told the story about our grandma on Colfax, and she's like, well, you're going to work with older adults. And I really haven't gone back from that.
What's the interesting thing? Because so Tripp and I kind of come from a little bit different fitness backgrounds. I started working with older seniors, personal training right out of college. The gym I was at was an Anytime Fitness, and just not residents, the members there were, 50 to 75. And so, right off the bat, I got to work with older adults right away. And that's kind of where I stuck. And I found some unique things I really enjoyed about it. What for you, is there anything specific you enjoy about, what do you find most value in what you're doing? Because you're doing a lot of different stuff. What are you finding the most value in working with the seniors?
You learn something new pretty much every hour. They have lived, everyone has lived a fruitful life, and they've got things to share and information and tidbits and thoughts. And I just take those in, you process. So learning from them, hearing their stories, allowing them to share their stories, get their input, see how they can still engage. And what's really amazing is they've been doctors their whole life, and now they're a writer. They're doing poetry. They're guiding this. They're leading music classes. It's really unique to see where people may not have been able to reach into that pocket of creativity in their working career period, and now they are really digging deep into it. So that's what's really cool about Kavod is we have so many different classes. Our director of life enrichment, she will just bring in a instructor here, and then it just blows up, and people, now we have acting, and we just had the Wizard of Oz.
You have acting?
done.
All right. Tell me more about that. How does that work? Like a professional acting coach comes in and...
I believe a drama coach comes in, and they've done a few productions. First I didn't know what they were doing, and then I heard the Yellow Brick Road being sung down the hallway, and they were practicing. I wasn't able to make it to it, but there was some residents that they'll help with doing the background if they want a scene specifically, because we have some really great artists. And then people are just, the production is very well attended, and it's a robust attendance for the actual.
How does that work with the enrichment director? Do you guys get together and you talk about, hey, let's bring these activities I heard from these certain residents, or does she or they come to you and say, hey, I want to do this? How does that work?
So we kind of work just separately, but be like, here, we're going to test this out. Let me know. So we do get input. We have a Kavod advisory group that they'll audit classes to let us know if they're working well. And then they have each month we'll go through the calendar and share what's happening, and we'll get feedback then. Both her and I get feedback constantly about, hey, we should do this, or emails in the middle of the night from residents. So really being that open door to hear and seeing if it fits with the group, or if it doesn't, then don't take it too seriously and move on to the next one.
Yeah, right. What I want to ask you about the Pinnacle Award. It was, an award, and correct me if I'm right, there's an award for the top 5 wellness directors or executives in North America. Can you tell me about that? Like just the circumstances around that, how that happened? Yeah,
so it's Pinnacle. It's underneath the National Council on NCOAA, maybe. There's a lot of acronyms out there.
International Council on Active Aging.
Active Aging.
Yep.
So through there, Kavod has been one of the top health and wellness centers for older adults for the past several years. And then I guess there was an opportunity specifically for a health and wellness director. So our marketing director nominated me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And were you just nominated? Did you?
I nominated and I won.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah. So out of all of those health and wellness directors in the country.
What was that like? I mean, did you throw a party for yourself? I would have. How did that play out after?
No, I
That's cool.
saw myself in the newspaper of my neighborhood, those little small newspapers. I was like, okay, there I am.
That's so awesome.
So it's kind of a shock, but no party, unfortunately. No cake.
They didn't send you like Cancun or anything like that?
No cake or
No.
party.
What?
Oh,
It came with a
man.
discount for a New Step, which is amazing because New Step does this fabulous Pump It for Parkinson's. It's one day in April. My grandmother passed away from Parkinson's, and it impacts a couple of our residents. But we set a goal, and this was our second year doing it. And the reason why I'm really pumped about it is because we met our goal by 6 p.m., and last year we missed it by several thousand steps.
Wow.
So residents are on it 24 hours if you need to be. And so it's just a very active way because it's they move their arms. I don't know if you guys are familiar with New Steps. It's moving your arms and also your legs. So it's an easier way a recumbent way to stay active. So that's my little push for a New Step. They didn't pay me for that as a part of the Pinnacle Award.
Yeah, that was not a sponsored
No.
ad break. Well, congrats on that. That's really cool. You put a lot of effort and work into, that it's nice to be recognized, isn't it?
Yeah. I never thought I would be a health and wellness director. I didn't know it actually existed. But after I left the housing authority, there was really liked the idea of an integrative health model. And Kavod called me to see if I wanted to do this. So it's fabulous. We have an on-site geriatric clinic. We've got specialty clinics. We do, my team, I oversee the social workers. We do a health and wellness analysis of each individual just to see a snapshot of their health, to see what the population needs. And that's how we evolve. And I develop programming or bring in different classes.
I love that. That's so fantastic. So we had a cool opportunity. I know. I'm going to do that. We're going to read an ad in a second. One more question before we do that. We had a cool opportunity to do the Heart Healthy Kavod, which was fantastic. So for you guys out there, Amanda was kind enough to invite us to, and we didn't know much about it. We heard it's called the Heart Healthy Month. And we got there, and it was this huge group of residents, and there were all these different activities. Can you just can you go over what the Heart Healthy thing was all about, how it came to be?
Yeah. So that's a program I designed. I have my sister and my mother are cardiologists, so heart health is in the family. So with those health and wellness discussions that we do annually with all of our residents, looking at the overall picture for Kavod, the top 5 health conditions were heart related. So looking at that, what way could we live and breathe heart health? And that's exercise, nutrition, and education to empower them when they go to their doctor to ask the right questions. And no one's got time to sit around for 2 hours. So I do it in 75 minutes, where it's 15 to 20 minutes exercise, a nutrition break where they get to take home a heart healthy recipe and ingredients and see how it's made. And then they get heart education with our CU team. And we actually had the geriatric fellows leading that
Nice.
But this year was incredible. It's the largest crowd we've had.
What kind of response did you get? When we were there, the energy was insane. It was like there was so much stuff going on. And what kind of response did you receive at the end of that?
Everyone loves it. And if they don't love it, they haven't told me yet. But I think I've done it for the last 7 years. I designed it about 8 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And just keep kind of changing it as time comes. And for the education, really check in with the physicians and check in with the residents to see what type of questions, what are you experiencing to really target that area, like the widowmaker or understand how a pacemaker actually works. So sometimes it gets really tailored. With nutrition, I don't know if you guys stuck around for that. We have some residents that are keeping up with education and learning, and they had some great questions. They were tripping up the dietitians coming.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love that.
And they're like, I'm going to take this back to our director of dining and see if we can do this. So it's really an active, proactive group.
Isn't that? Oh, I better read the ad because I'm gonna I'm gonna go crazy. Hey, we got a quick ad break, you guys. Have you ever faced the overwhelming task of finding the right senior living community for yourself or a loved one? With so many different options, care levels, and prices, you really want a trusted expert in your corner. That's where Above and Beyond Senior Living comes in, Colorado's only senior placement team with hands-on administrative experience in assisted living, memory care, and skilled nursing communities. Their team has over 75 years of combined experience helping thousands of seniors thrive. The best part, their service comes at no cost to you. That's right, they're fully compensated by the communities they partner with. So whether you're just starting the process or urgently need support, visit aboveandbeyondseniorliving.com, or you can call Cory and his team directly. Above and Beyond Senior Living, helping you find peace of mind. And we are back to live action.
Hey, we're back.
We're back to live action. The Heart Healthy thing was fantastic. And it was good to be a part of it. So thank you for inviting us, having us. What would you say with kind of the team you have in place right now? You have people you're working with, and there's a lot of moving parts as all organizations have. What's the biggest key to success for you right now? Is it just, hey, I have to communicate? I have to feel like my communication needs to be on point. Is there anything that stands out to you, maybe this week or today, that you feel it really like drives you towards success?
I think there is the 4 Agreements. Are you familiar with that?
That's a great book.
No,
Such a good book.
And it's don't take things personally. Mm-hmm. Can you help me out, Trip?
Yes, don't take things personally. Some about patience. There's a patience one. It's don't overreact for underreactive, something like that. Mm-hmm. And then there's one on relaxing or something, or something.
I can't remember the last one.
Yeah.
But I really focused on the don't take things personally. So really, and I actually had a conversation with a resident this week. when engaging with someone or receiving feedback, being flexible, hearing them, and then processing. So yes, communication is always great, but allowing space for things and being flexible and allowing that fluid movement, I think, is really key to having a successful team. My team, I have someone that's been there. She was the only social worker, left to go raise her amazing daughters, came back, and she's still invested. And I always want interns to come learn from her because she's fabulous and that she's able to sustain, because social working is a very challenging position with high turnover, burnout, transitioning. So we really just seeing the person and seeing how they're doing to support them so they can support the others around them.
That is fantastic. I'm going to shout that out for you guys out there that are driving or maybe on your way to work or on break. It's called The Four Agreements, best-selling book by Don Miguel Ruiz. Be impeccable with your word. Number 1, integrity. Number 2, don't take anything personally. Number 3, don't make assumptions. And number 4, always do your best. I like those. Those are awesome. I think that don't take things personally. God, I feel like that's targeted at me. You know what I mean? Because we're so active and we care a lot about what we do. It's like sometimes it's hard. You got to remind yourself of that one.
Yes, you
like,
definitely do.
Why do we take things personally? I've been hogging the trip. You got any questions?
Yeah, thanks for letting me. No, one thing I really want to ask too is you have a very unique community. Brett was bringing that up earlier about how you guys approach things, and we were talking before about and Brett and I agree. You guys have one of the most hardest hitting senior boxing classes that we have.
Oh my God!
And
I second that.
And this is by miles.
They punch hard.
It's scary punching, scary punchy, right? But it's because they care so much about the class and they care about their community. They want to have fun. Is there anything that maybe someone else is out there in Iowa, North Dakota that they're trying to build their senior communities out? How do you build a community that's that tight like that?
You include them in the development and all steps of the way. Really looking at, when I first started looking at, you can easily just look at their insurance and see what matches that way, but seeing where their interest lies and continue to inquire with them to see what more would you like to see? What have you always wanted to do? And just constantly having that feedback, seeing if it's possible. If not, I'm a certified yoga instructor. I've been like, I can teach this class. But seeing what's available. And if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. But see if there's a way to tweak it in some capacity. So the boxing, my inquiry out was, we had one resident was like, oh, could we get one resident asked for boxing, and just seeing how it evolved from there. And I think the aspect that you all bring in is with the music component. I usually pop in the back and I'm singing along.
Hey, we didn't know that.
Yeah, it's great. And yeah, just getting, it's best when you get the buy-in from the group you're trying to support.
Yeah, that can be hard too. It's for certain activities, and Brett and I are in a ton of these different communities, and you don't always see that kind of participation as well as that attention,
So you also certified yoga instructor?
Yeah.
Okay.
What does she not do, right?
Have you taught classes there before?
I've filled in for staff and for residents.
Okay, let me know next time you teach one. Trip and I'll take some time off. We'll come down there. What you got? Any other certifications for?
I really got into certifications. I'm a cycling yoga instructor. For future mothers, I can't think of the word for that.
Oh, like Perry Perry.
Yeah, yoga instructor. Was gonna get certified to do lifeguard for open water swimming.
Oh my goodness!
Nice. It's like just any direction in which it's in some thing that I'm interested in. I'll be like, okay, how can we do this? Because I'm training for a 70.3 Ironman, so that's where the open water swimming came. And it's really, there's some amazing swimmers living in the Boulder area.
Oh yeah.
So it's cool learning from them and seeing how long they've been doing that. But yeah, those are some of the areas.
So is the Ironman the full? Is that the? Is it?
No, this is the half. So,
Okay.
So there's no full marathon.
Okay. Because I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. Now we got to talk about your training because I want to know all about your splits. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah, last year I did it as a team. My sister gave me a call. It's usually that way. I'm always guided by my sister. She's like, any chance you'd be open to doing the swim portion of this? And I often say yes before fully thinking about it. That's just more me on the personal side. And then the more I looked into it, I was like, I got to swim in the Brazos River in Waco, Texas. And then you can get down that Google rabbit hole. And I was like, there was a nar bigger than me that was down there. There's alligators. This time I'm not going to Google that side.
Psych yourself out. Go on ChatGPT. What could all go wrong?
I just learned about that, so I'm not going to go there with this.
It just sends you like Final Destination clips.
Oh gosh.
That's cool about those swim bike runs. What's really cool is like the swimming portion. Did you swim as a child? Did you grow up swimming?
I did.
Okay, so that's like a leg up because all the people who are like older who are learning how to like really swim, what a tough thing. That's tough to learn later on.
Yeah, usually people say the swimming's the hardest. Yep. So yeah, that's where I feel more comfortable. And I used to bike prior to having a child. I was biking all over and would bike actually out to Colfax when I worked on Colfax from the Highlands area. I would bike everywhere. I was like, this is the best, just the freedom you have on two wheels.
Oh yeah.
So that part I'm excited about. The running, it's always the final, but it'll be great.
Yeah, the running's an interesting one. I love runners. They are crazy. Like people who really love running, they're definitely crazy. I grew up, my mom was a marathon runner, so I got to like experience what runners are like. First of all, every one of them drinks coffee. Every one of them reads like incessantly. You know what I mean? They're like reading constantly. I found a love for running, and they always joke. They're like, I never see anybody smiling who's running, so I purposely try to smile. I run fast cars. But yeah, it's torture, right? You're like putting yourself through torture.
Yeah, it's very true. I rarely see someone smiling while they're running.
Yeah, right. They're always having the worst time of their life. Well, that's really cool. Okay, you're doing a lot. What else? Anything else? Go ahead, Trip. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So, speaking on, we kind of covered where you've been, where you're at right now. What do you see in senior care right now that's going to be obviously the future of senior care, right? Whether it be wearable tech, whether it be new classes, what do you see the future being for senior living?
Yeah, I think we're in a transition period. So we have a population that is not as tech savvy as one could be. And then we have some folks coming in that have so many gadgets, I don't even know how to work them. So I can see us definitely shifting in that model. There are a few things that have came out in the last 5+ years that are more tech-based for fall prevention. Like there's even this board that can check your balance. I don't know all the details about it because I just stopped listening because it's too tech on that side. But we have an amazing legacy rehabs on site, and they facilitate that. So I think more in the I'll just say contraptions for lack of words that people can wear with tracking with GPS. There's all the, just with the AirTag, how that can be where it can be just a way to support our individuals that may be experiencing memory loss and tracking for the family. There's so many trackers just on your apps. So really seeing that evolving. We have a few apartments that you're able to use a tablet to control the lights, the thermometer, the thermostat and everything. I can see that evolving more so. There is even on a tablet where home health can check in and be like, hey, take your meds. And I only know one group that currently does that, but I can see that really developing because it is really hard to staff home health with getting that support. So that could be one if it's just reminding to do your meds or go to this appointment. So really the technology, I think, is going to take off.
That's a good point. Yeah, we see that too. Tech is just going crazy. We're on ChatGPT now, and it is my new best friend. Like I can research things at lightning speed. It is crazy. So I know tech sometimes gets a little intimidating, and I feel like it'll pass us all up at some point. Maybe.
Or maybe it's so simple we don't even recognize it's part of day-to-day life. You know?
Yeah. The wearables are going to be exciting, though. The future of having, like, I think it'll be a ring or something. And it'll
like
have
glasses.
It'll have all your data on it. It's going to be wild. Well, listen, guys, thank you. Amanda, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. We appreciate you.
You're welcome.
No, you're super busy. Thank you, listeners. We appreciate you guys, too. I heard we had a couple new countries join the fold.
Yeah, Hungary and Bangladesh. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for downloading.
Yeah, somebody in Bangladesh keeps getting on our website, so thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want some personal training, let us know.
So thanks. And thanks to the new listeners for joining episode of Health or High Water. We got a lot of good stuff coming at you. Have a great rest of your day. Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.